B Marsh Boxing back at it with another breakdown and prediction. What's good, boxing heads and fight fans around the world? B Marsh back at it with another video. And this is a World Boxing Super Series WBSS semifinal. Very anticipated domestic rivalry right here in England between WBA super middleweight champion of the world Sir St. George Groves versus Chris Eubank Jr. Now, this is a fight that I've been actually looking forward to, and I'm glad it's this weekend. It crept up on me, you know what I mean? It was kind of dull last weekend, no fights to mention, but here we go, man. This is a very good fight right here, you know? George Groves is a guy who's a more established guy, super middleweight. Ever since I've been watching him, the man has been a staple, you know what I mean, at the super middleweight division, you know what I mean? The man fought fellas like Carl Froch twice. He fought fellas like Badu Jack. Those were three world title opportunities that he lost, you know what I mean? Although I thought that he did slightly win, barely beat Badu Jack. Unfortunately, he ain't come through with the W, you know what I mean? So he got it on his fourth opportunity when he fought that shooting off kid, you know what I mean? A guy who was giving George Groves work early, you know what I mean? But the guy gassed out throwing all them punches, and George Groves capitalized, and eventually he stopped him, you know? But Chris Eubank Jr. is a guy who's is a kind of tweener, you know what I mean? He's an in-between guy. He could fight at 160 or 168. Didn't get the opportunities he wanted at 160 middleweight. But he's thriving at 168, man, you know? He's the kind of guy who's carried his quickness from middleweight all the way up to middleweight, super middleweight, you know what I mean? That's the advantage that I see that he has almost on every opponent that he faces at super middleweight. He just has the quicker feet, quicker hands, you know what I mean? Tighter defense, you know? He's a guy who's very difficult to hit flush in the face, you know what I mean? Very defensively responsible, and that's where George Groves is going to have to bust this man's bubble if he intends on keeping his world title. As far as hand speed, like I said, I think Chris Eubank Jr. is definitely has the edge in that category, you know what I mean? He has the quicker hand speed, and especially his punch placement. He's not a guy who wastes his punches, nor is he a guy who's in there to trade and fuck around and just, just throw for the sake of punching, you know what I mean? He's a very economical with his punches, but when he lands punches, he places them on the right spots. And when he has an opponent hurt, then you're going to see the lightning quick hand speed, you know what I mean? The combination punches, both guys are good combination punches, especially when they have you hurt, you know? But in my opinion, George Groves' combination punches are a little wide, you know what I mean? What I thought that Chris Eubank, the first time I seen him fight when he fought Billy Joe Saunders, you know what I mean? He, those haymakers he was throwing, those roundhouses, he was wide with his punches, you know what I mean? And that was the only loss he ever took in his career. And believe you me, the man has drastically improved ever since, you know what I'm saying? He ain't throwing them wide punches anymore, you know what I mean? His punch placement is right on point, you know? His defense is tight, it's sound. And this is a guy who actually, man, he looks very unbeatable so far at 168, you know what I mean? George Groves, in my opinion, hits harder. He's the better puncher, you know what I mean? He has a very good jab. I think he has a better jab than Chris Eubank Jr., you know what I mean? But what George Groves likes to do mostly is he likes to also lead with his right hand, you know what I mean? Lead right hand punches, you know what I'm saying? Because this guy believes in his power, and usually when he tags a guy on an opponent on the chin, the guy buckles, you know what I mean? He even had the guy Martin Murray buckling, you know what I mean, with them straight lead right hands down the pipe, you know what I mean? Who's the better body puncher? I'm going to have to go with George Groves. George Groves is the better body puncher. If I'm not mistaken, I think his last opponent, Jamie Foxx, he took him out, I think, in the second or third round. He took him out with a body shot, you know what I mean? So he throws body shots, especially when he's in trading positions, you know what I mean? When he's trading with an opponent, which he does more often than George Groves, you know what I mean? But I think in my opinion, if they do happen to trade and want to stand in the pocket and trade, then George Groves is at the disadvantage because Chris Eubank Jr. has the faster hands. He don't got quite the one punch power like George Groves does. You know what I'm saying? Knock opponents out or with the body shot or really tag him clean like how he put the man, what's his name? Carl Froch on the canvas with the left hook, straight right hand down the pipe, boom. First or second round, put the man Carl Froch on the back, on the seat of his pockets, you know what I mean? George Groves, if he wants to do that, he's gonna get clipped because this guy's not gonna waste his punches. He ain't gonna hit the man the whole fight. Believe you me, you can watch it for yourself when it happens. This man Chris Eubank is barely gonna get hit flush in the face, you know what I mean? And that's gonna frustrate the man George Groves, in my opinion. And George Groves is gonna try to go all out, you know what I mean? And he's gonna try to trade with the man Chris Eubank. That's when Chris Eubank places his punches on the right spots, even if it's body shots and straight right hands, you know what I mean? The uppercut, man, that's Chris Eubank Jr.'s bread and butter, you know what I mean? His uppercut is lethal, you know? And that's why I think he can ice this man George Groves, you know what I mean? If George Groves wants to win this fight, he's going to have to box, you know what I'm saying? Going to be very patient, be more poised than the man Eubank Jr., you know what I mean? I think Eubank Jr. is a very poised fighter. You never see the man panic, doesn't change his facial expressions, keeps a poker face. You never know if he's hurt, which he barely is hurt because his opponents ain't tagging him, you know what I mean? George Groves, he's a guy, when you hit him flush in the face, yeah, he going to get red, he's going to start getting mad, and he's going to want to fight. He's going to throw all that boxing stuff out the window. And that's why I think Chris Eubank Jr. has to take advantage. Be the more poised fighter in there. Keep your defense tight. Throw your right hand and your uppercuts and your left hooks, you know what I mean? Keep this man honest. And let George Groves want to go mano a mano and try to trade with you. And Chris Eubank Jr. can possibly stop the man, you know what I mean? It's going to be very difficult for George Groves to stop this guy, Chris Eubank Jr., you know what I'm saying? Because he's defensively responsible, defensively sound, you know what I mean? Only way George Groves could win this fight is if he outboxes Chris Eubank Jr., you know what I mean? And he's going to have to do, if he plans on outboxing him, he's going to have to be moving on his feet, you know what I mean? Putting the pressure on Chris Eubank Jr., tagging him, but staying out of range for this guy, Chris Eubank Jr., to counter him back. You know what I mean? Because I think Chris Eubank Jr. has a faster hand speed, especially if George Groves just wants to lead with his right hand. That's going to leave plenty of opportunities for wide open counter punches for Chris Eubank Sr., Jr., excuse me, you know what I mean? So I do think that the man Chris Eubank Jr. will win this fight, you know what I mean? In a close fight, probably 7 rounds to 5. Very competitive fight from top to bottom. We ain't going to see no draw, none of that, because it's a tournament, man. Somebody got to advance, you know what I'm saying, and fight the winner of Jürgen Bremer versus Callum Smith, you know what I mean? But this fight right here is going to be one for the ages, you know what I mean? I think it's going to be an electric atmosphere over there in London. And I think George Groves will come up short, man. Unfortunately for him, he's going to lose his world title that he worked hard for his life for. Got it on his 4th opportunity at the world title. But I think Chris Eubank Jr. is looking very good at this division, you know what I mean? And I think right now with the confidence he has, the hand speed he has, his tight defense, you know what I mean? Using that shoulder roll, you know what I'm saying? And also, you know, George Groves is the type of guy, when he does throw punches, he drops his hands, you know what I mean? And those are opportunities all day, every day for the man, Chris Eubank Jr., you know what I mean, to tag the man, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be a difficult fight for George Groves, man, believe you me. Same way for Chris Eubank Jr., but I think Chris Eubank Jr. has the tools to get it done, you know what I'm saying? Otherwise, everything he's been doing ever since that Billy Joe Saunders loss is just a facade, you know what I'm saying? He's been looking excellent, you know what I mean? The way he took care of Arthur Abraham and that Turkish dude, Yildirim, the last dude he fought, you know, he beat them in very convincing fashion, you know what I mean? And I think George Groves, he's been in tough fights, you know what I'm saying, been in difficult fights, but he has a few blemishes on his record, you know what I mean? Some fights he should have won, some he should have lost, but either way, he's a world champion, and he's bringing his trinket to the tournament. He's the only one who did out of all the super middleweight champions, so you gotta give him props, you know what I mean? The man's trying to fight the best, and we shall see, man, but I just think 7-5, split decision, maybe majority draw for the man Chris Eubank Jr., but I think he's going to walk away with this WBA world title, super middleweight. Be Marsh Boxer, leave your thoughts and comments. Let me know who y'all think going to win this fight, and I'm going to catch you on the next vid. I'm gone. Peace.